Wow, the videos are indeed inspiring and is a call for action for all of us today here to position the role of architects and architecture as builders of place and communities. This morning, we have Miya Irawati from Urban Rural Systems, Jakarta. Let me first do a short introduction of Miya. Miya Irawati is a research associate of Urban Rural Systems, Future Cities Lab, ETH Zurich. Her project with ETH Zurich on expandable house is shortlisted for the 2022 Aga Khan Award for Architecture. Miya has practiced architecture and urban design in Indonesia and is a green building practitioner. In the past, she engaged with several architect consultants in Jakarta and Bandung for green building design and simulation. With interest focused on urban development and housing provision in the developing world, local economic development, community engagement, and slum upgradation and spatial planning, Miya has conducted various research projects ranging from policies to pilot initiatives in Indonesia. She has also been involved with various joint research programs with universities in the United States, Europe, Southeast and East Asia, and Australia. Following those outputs, she has been engaged as a consultant with international organizations, especially on urban land and housing provisions, urban water management, and urban heritage. Miya has a PhD in geography from National University of Singapore, a Master's of Science from Helsinki Metropolis, and a Bachelor of Architecture from Trisakti University in Indonesia. Without further ado, let me invite Miya Irawati to the stage.
So, good morning. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having me, a team member of Urban Rural System from ETH Zurich, to share our learning process of expandable house, primarily for responding to how are we researchers and architects addressing sustainable housing. It is an honor to share this forum about expandable house. I would like to introduce Cici. Hi. So Cici is my daughter's doll. So she asked me to bring Cici because she knows that I'm nervous and I always be nervous to share about expandable house in Indonesia or everywhere. So this project is one of the 20 shortlist Aga Khan Award for Architecture 2022. This project also is the winner of the Best Living Space in the Asia Pacific in the awards in 2020. This project is a collaboration between the Urban Rural System team at Future Cities Laboratory, a research unit of the ETH Zurich in Singapore, and a Batam municipality and the community of Kampung Melayu Tua Batam, or Old Malay Kampung in Batam, Indonesia. So, expandable house or rumah tambah in bahasa Indonesia and rubah for short is inspired by kampung and other forms of informal housing modes and internal migration, especially in Southeast Asia. Kampung often exhibit precisely the feature of adequate housing, such as affordability, habitability, and availability of services and infrastructure, and access to jobs and facilities. So kampung also, expandable house is designed to be a new type of dwelling that can be adapted to many different locations in rapidly urbanizing regions, especially in monsoon Asia. In this sense, it's intended as a seat capable of generating many different kinds of dwelling rather than being a singular one of design. So this project began with research on urbanization in 2011. As a journey, expandable house is one of the proposals to respond to urbanization in Asia. Why should we respond to urbanization? So from this global raster data map, Asia has experienced rapid urbanization, mainly in the monsoon regions. This region has land which is fertile for food staple production, especially rice. Additionally, this region has experienced rapid population growth. 60% of the world population now is living in Asia. Then we focus on conducting research in Singapore and its surrounding area. We inspired by Asian urban characteristics, including everyday life in Asia urban areas. We researched 70s of the fringe of cities and towns in Asia by focusing on their characteristics such as streets, daily activities on the street, building facades, etc. We learn how people in this region do their livelihood. They are very creative in organizing their limited space, which could be for working as well as for living. Urbanization also is indeed unseparated from the contributions of migration flows from village and towns to urban areas. Therefore, we learn about this particular group, internal migrant. Moreover, we are inspired by the culture of Asia, which is reciprocity or gotong royong in Bahasa Indonesia or Malay, as their social capital. Reciprocity is embedded in communities in Asia in many aspects of their life in their community. In Southeast Asia, for example, in Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, and Thailand, gotong royong or reciprocity include constructing their houses and changing their address by literally moving and bringing their house to a new location. We learn from Asia and Africa how to hoist the roof of granary and a house because we want to add more levels to the house when we need more space without wasting the building materials. Additionally, we conducted research on how people in Asia organize their space for working and living, such as in sub-houses. Most cities we examine have high density, with low quality settlement in urban kampungs. Migrants are squatting land with less infrastructure of clean water, electricity, drainage, and etc. So from urban settlement, we scrutinize migrant everyday life and housing typologies for accommodating the increasing populations, such as landed houses, social housing, sub-houses, illegal settlement, kampung. We study them by collecting data in Southeast Asia, especially some islands in Indonesia. So we choose Batam as the case study because of two reasons. First, Batam is one of the Asian urbanizing cities, which is close to Singapore because our office is in Singapore. Second, we want to have a grounded research. We have involved many partners in Indonesia, such as University of Riau Islands, the University of Indonesia, and Batam Municipality. Also, we have a joint research in Singapore with a building material cluster of FCL to have interweave logic between theories and practices. There are two main challenges that we learned from Batam. First, housing provision, especially for internal migrants. Second, land ownership. Batam is special economic zone in Indonesia, focusing on industrial estates, ports, and tourism. Batam attracts migrants from other regions of Indonesia, including Java Island, the densest islands in the world. The migrant cannot be housed only in social housing provided by the local government, but also in ruli, squatters. We call it ruli or rumah liar. The land in Batam cannot be purchased due to the state's asset. Only the community in Kampung Tua Batam can own their land. So to solve this problem, especially land ownership in Batam, we collaborate with the community of Kampung Melayu Tua Batam. There are numerous Kampung Tua Melayu in Batam. In this kampung, the community could sell their land only to other community members. So they cannot sell to residents in Batam who doesn't belongs to this kampung. So Alwi, the head community who wear the brown uniform, let the land in Kampung Melayu Tua to be built after we had several discussions with a community. It's around like more than a year we discussed with community about this project. So urban-rural system proposes a sustainable implementation of settlement development which will not allow massive land conversion practices. For sustainable implementation, tropical town avoid situated practices of land conversion, so tropical town is sensitive to social, economic, and environmental context. Expandable house is one of the unit of tropical town which contain hybrid urban-rural land uses. So the 16 hectare idealized tropical town has 1 hectare dedicated public facility and 15 hectare design of sustainable settlement combined with housing, communal space, infrastructure for road, water, energy, and waste. There are 16 districts within the entire tropical town as one of central courtyard or alun-alun, alun-alun will occupy this area, one of 16 hectare. And there are more amenities available at this level, including school, mosque, market, and commercial options. Tropical town follows incremental development as Asia characteristic. So tropical town operate 5 scales, on 5 scale with these 3 main, so tropical town operate on 5 scale. So for the first is expandable house, and then the 4th scale is a neighborhood plan, town plan, district plan, and regional plan. From the level of the household unit, expandable house is the smallest unit. So neighborhood units share a common courtyard, whilst each house is separated by a garden space. The orientation of the house also allows homes to capture the breeze, creating a passive cooling effects. At the district level, residents share several collective space, such as pavilions or sport courts. District will also share 1 common septic tank unit and a bamboo plantation strip, which is cooperative resource that each district will maintain and harvest. We plan on conducting more studies on how the bamboo may be processed and exported. So Expandable house has been designed specifically for regions around the fringe of cities and towns in Asia, where urbanization affects most directly. In this region, land is still relatively cheap. New industry and associated jobs are springing up. Rural migrants often first arrive in the city, and infrastructure for transit, water, energy, and waste is often inadequate to support them. The lesson learned from kampung is incremental development. Incrementalism is the logic for the design of tropical town and expandable house. The metabolism diagram shows that in the first year, a new household needs a 36 square meter house. A family first inhabit expandable house. They receive the seed package, meeting their basic needs for shelter and living in their 36 home. When they have increased income and household member, for example, in the third of the fifth year, there will be increasing needs for space, water and energy consumption, and waste production as a consequence. In the first 5 years of living in expandable house, they may be able to save their earning, and their family and business may grow. They may permit them to expand their house upwards by constructing another floors. This increased the size of their homes to 72 square meters. So the expandable house is designed from 5 principles. First, in sandwich section. Second, domestic density. The third is decentralized system, productive landscape, and package it. The first principle in sandwich section, the house provides a hoisted roof, floor, and foundation, a layering braid that support up to 3/4 filling. The system allows flexible financing whereby the household or developer who builds this house provides the first floor. In the future, the household will provide infill based on their budget allows. It also helps to accommodate crucial income generating functions such as shop, cafe, garage, along with dwelling. We did some experiment mindfully with the mechanism for hosting the roof, focusing on 4 main points, the mechanic structure. So each point has 2 supporting columns for steel to share loads of force. In so doing, this mechanism needs only 4 to 8 people to hoist the roof. They must work together at the same time to lift the roof by spinning the levers. So, expandable house promote domestic densification in the vertical dimensions at domestic and neighborhood scale, supporting the benefits of co-location, of dwelling and employment for generating income, reducing the footprint of settlement on arable land, and reducing the demand for expensive and massive infrastructure. So it helps accommodate crucial income generating function along with dwelling, and this is the scenario of interior design of expandable house. Follow incremental phases of expandable house from the first floor to the 3rd floor, with various functions to each floor. We developed the design of mobile kitchen by collecting data of various charts of street vendor in Batam. We intend to have a kitchen that could function as a chart for incoming generating function. Thus, the household doesn't need to spend extra money to make or buy a chart to support their livelihood. We also create scenario of facade for dwelling and income generating function, such as a shop, garage, convenience store, and warung or small shop. The third principle is decentralized system with scale of decentralized system. First is neighborhood scale, and the second is the unit scale. So the decentralized system at the neighborhood scale serves 100 units of expandable house. This system has a wastewater system, growing a media bamboo for filtering black water and aquaponic, which is integrated vertical hydroponic and aquaculture. Each unit of expandable house has rainwater harvesting, solar electricity generating technology, septic tank, passive cooling principle which are integrated to avoid the expensive and often unreliable centralized approach to infrastructure provision. Sorry. Okay. I want to share a little bit about this. So, based on the weather in Batam, this system produces energy for 518 kilowatts per month with 24 square meter roof-mounted photovoltaic panels and 1,900 liters of wastewater per person per month, and storage 1,000 liters of water per tank. So on the left side, we can see the transparent gutter. So actually, it is installed as the roof for two purposes. So the first is for harvesting and channeling rainwater to the water tank. And the second, it is also for the natural lighting. The rainwater is collected to the water tank on the third floor and the water ground tank on the first floor. Bioseptic tanks, so this is the water tank, and here is the water ground tank. So bioseptic tank are part of the bamboo nursery because bamboo roots naturally absorbs and decompose grey water before cleaner water is released to drainage. The fourth principle of expandable house is productive landscape. The house integrated food and building material production locally through a bamboo nursery and vertical garden, which help further diversity the resource of the house. Kebun susun or bunsun for short is a stacking garden that could grow into 3 stories following the tropical town local needs. The garden applied the hydroponic method with the vertical arrangement to maximize the production time and the use of the site area. The hydroponic system are integrated with fish farming, which both products will be distributed to local community. Together with the community, of Kampung Melayu Tua, we studied fish farming and hydroponic, mainly planting mustard greens, spinach, and water spinach. We also studied the market values and demand for hydroponics in Batam. This spot is most popular spot for the community to meet and farming. Type of plantation we plant here also not only vegetables but also herbs and bamboo. So we harvest bamboo also. The house is designed as seed package, technology, local material, research, and planning guidelines. The seed package is developed in different ways depending on local condition. We attend that diverse tropical town will grow from this common seed that contain a built 1-story, roof, and then rainwater storage, groundwater storage, and black and grey water pipes. For building material, expandable house use a mycelium. For developing this material, we collaborate with alternative building material at FCL and Mycotech in Indonesia, which is various timber types from plantation in islands surrounding Batam, because we are not allowed to cutting down trees in Batam Island. We also purchased bamboo from Indonesia to Singapore to develop pressed bamboo as our alternative building material for outdoors before sending them to Batam. This happened because we could not find a type bamboo for the experiment of pressed bamboo as alternative material in Batam. So we need specific types of variant of bamboo for pressed bamboo building material. So we experiment rem art by using several types of soil and sand in Batam. We produce to scale the long one for fence and the small block one. We design various openings for light bricks walls in order to provide passive cooling for better ventilations. And reset and designs include simple technology to support everyday life of people in kampung or migrants, so such as controller for rising and lowering bamboo blinds, railing that function as closeness, and so on. So at the end, the incremental growth is the main principle for expandable house and tropical town. The growth depends on the wealth of each house also, as well. This illustrations is a small scale. So this illustration is a small scale neighborhood of tropical town, which show the atmosphere of sustainable housing settlement with its logic of incremental development in urbanizing area in Asia. Developing a sense of community is important for our tropical town, and we are able to achieve this with our hierarchy of roads, which create public and private space for living, working, and playing. So this is the site plan of expandable house in Kampung Tua Melayu. So we get a great new view, so which is lagoon, and then the expandable house implement also the open plan with a toilet and shower on the first and the second floor, and the third floor is provided for living space with a water tank and storage. The area of the first floor of this house is around 36 square meter. So we did hand over the house to the community in February 2020 after conducting post-occupancy research for 8 months to review our research and design, especially about water, energy consumption, and production. So we have engaged with the community of Kampung Tua Melayu Batu Besar Batam, and then Batam Municipality, Real Estate Association, and University for knowledge sharing. We hope they are interested in learning about the constructing a house from this pilot project. So actually one of our challenge is to convince Indonesian governments and developers to build tropical towns, so or bigger pilot projects, because they thought they need to plan money for foundation, for three level foundations. So thank you. So Urban Rural System is honored to be here to share the research and pilot project. Actually, we are 5 people in this project. So Stephen Cairns, this one, can you? So Stephen Cairns is this person is a principal investigator as well as an architect of expandable house and tropical town. And Dio and Aswan, Where is Dio and Aswan? Okay, this is Aswan. This is Dio. They are architects. They are really amazing person. They are willing to learn a lot about everything, even though the micro things. I appreciate them. And then Sumiadi is a lead of workers, the construction workers. We, especially myself, learn a lot from him because we don't have engineer, we don't have civil engineer. So I learned a lot from him, how to hoist the roof. It's the most challenging part in this research. And then myself as an architect and also project coordinator of this project. Thank you.
Thank you to Miya Irawati.